I just wanted to go back really quickly, Willie, to the ideological sorting. And you look at those lines, and we just have to look at media also. You wonder about the ideological sorting. They started to go up in the early 1990s. That's when Rush Limbaugh first broke out. And by the way, I don't need people to go, oh, you're turning Limbaugh into this or that. No, I was there. I saw when I was campaigning, everybody listened to Limbaugh. I had Limbaugh on in my car driving around. Everybody. He was everywhere in the Republican Party, and he had a massive impact. Just sort of this infotainment that got more and more pointed and more ideologically boxed off from the rest of the world. And then you had, of course, in the mid to late 90s, cable news coming. And the prime time on cable news networks becoming more and more ideologically driven. So you had sorting there, ideological sorting there. So now you could listen to what you wanted to listen to reinforce all of your views on the radio. Then you could go home at night, watch it on television. And then, of course, by the late 90s, people were really getting more on the internet. So further sorting there, so you could go online and hear about how the other side was evil and you were right. And then finally, Willie, social media pretty much finished it off. I would suggest we look at a lot of outside factors. We should look at the media. We should look at ourselves. We should look at the world that was created starting in the early 1990s and see the sorting where people now go to Chinese religious cults. It's gotten so extreme. You have people who support Donald Trump getting their news from Chinese religious cults. And because the Chinese religious cults are saying bad things about the other side, they're believing the Chinese religious cults over the Wall Street Journal. Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal. That's how bizarre things have gotten in 2023. But it started in the early 1990s with this sorting in the media.
Without question. And Rush Limbaugh and Fox News, which kind of grew up together, Rush Limbaugh was really, as you say, instrumental in this, were a reaction to what a lot of people in this country viewed as a left-leaning bent to the media. And they would look at the news and say, what about us? That's not the way we feel. That's not the way we see the world. It started as that reaction, and now, as you say, you can go an entire day without hearing another version of the story of the news, what's going on. In many cases, I would argue, without hearing the facts of the news that are going on, depending on what radio show you listen to, what TV show, what podcast, whatever it is. It's just reinforcement. And Donnie Deutsch joins us at the table here. And Donnie, that is what sells. Just telling the audience what it wants to hear. That is what sells, whether it's ratings or clicks or anything else.
Yeah, Joe, I think that was a very, very insightful kind of look down memory lane as far as how we've gotten here into this very, very divided world. The one point that I think you skipped over was 2007 when this little item came aboard, the smartphone came aboard, and that really kind of just made it carry wherever you go, anytime, anywhere. The other point to add on is the fact that they've done studies. And people, where they get their news, they don't remember afterwards where it goes. So to your point also, there's no distinguishing between a Chinese crazy right-wing site and New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. But it's only going to continue. Nothing's going to change. And as each generation comes up, we at least had something else. This is all they know. And I actually got into a heated argument with a friend of mine who's a Republican who sees the posts I make of the things I talk about on the show. And he goes, why do you even bother doing it? You're only talking to the people that you talk to and nobody else is listening. And it was kind of like he was bringing up a really depressing point that if you look at our audience here, because I won't get booked on Fox. I'd love to go on Fox. They will not have me. And so it's just, I think that's a good thing, probably, but for the world. But, we're all in our echo chambers, and this is where we are, and this is the media landscape for the future. It's only going to get worse.
Well, I disagree with you strongly. I think that it's our responsibility, not only here, but it's responsibility of everybody watching at home to try to figure out how to break down those walls.
Agree.
How to reach out, how to not just preach to the choir. I'm going to do something right now, Donnie, that we just don't say on television. But our numbers. We were the #1 show, I guess, in August. Is this right, Alex? We were the #1 show in the morning on all of cable news. All of cable news. More than ESPN, more than, I don't know, Home Garden Network, USA, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that doesn't just happen in a vacuum. That happens because people are coming. They hear you and me talk about, not only Donald Trump and the problems with Donald Trump, they hear us talking about how Joe Biden screwed up Afghanistan, how he needs to get serious with the southern border, how we're sick and tired of watching cities, a lot of cities, but not all of them run by liberal DAs, descend into crime and madness. Of course, you've got Republican cities in Florida that are actually much worse than New York City. So people actually do turn. It's harder than it used to be, but they do turn, and they watch shows, Willie, where, where you can get both sides. Again, the people are still sorted, but man, it is depressing to think that we're just preaching to the choir. I'm not interested in preaching to the choir, and when I start thinking I'm only preaching to the choir, I will quit and do something else. But Willie, I do want to underline a point. When Fox News came on in 1996, there was a good reason Fox News came on in 1996, and that's because 50% of the country didn't want the people who all went to Ivy League schools. I'm sorry, it's the truth, and who were all left of center at ABC, CBS, NBC. The New York Times and the Washington Post telling them what the world looked like. They wanted a little more balanced view of the world. That's where that fair and balanced deal came from. And I will say, I noticed coming to MSNBC in the early 2000s, now over 20 years ago, I noticed that there was more of an understanding because Fox had come in. They did well in the market. That the news people were going, wait a second, are we getting all of this story right? Are we seeing the other side? So I think it started as something very positive. Obviously, there have been some real problems, and there's still some things, even after they got socked for almost $1 billion and faced $1 billion more of liability, that are just sickening that I see on the airwaves. But I know there are a lot of good people over there who were working hard. But there's still going to be a sorting, and gravity is returning. People are paying the consequences for lying on the air about other people. Rudy Giuliani, I believe by the end, is going to be bankrupt because all of the lies that he spread on TV. But it's gotten so extreme again. When I have educated friends of mine all over the country trying to give me information from Chinese religious cults, I'm like, dude, we jumped the shark long ago. That's when it gets scary to me.
Yeah, I agree. And you and I have talked about this a lot over the last several years, which is, yes, there's a big responsibility from the media outlet to not tell lies. Hopefully that's self-evident, but not always the case. But also from the viewer, from people you and I and Donnie, who know better, who will still come and at that dinner party, Donnie, and say, Trump won the election.
Right.
And you go, no, he didn't. You're a smart guy.
Joe, I needed you at the dinner party, by the way. You got to start coming to these things.
You can handle yourself.
Well, I don't really do the Hamptons, Donnie.
No.
Can you have dinner party like somewhere else?
Nothing after 5.
Yeah,
and it has to be
conference at 4:30. Yeah.
How about ribs and sweet tea?
You got it, brother.
But Joe, it's like the conversations we've had when we were in the fall of 2020, smart people who I know, love, and respect saying, why aren't you guys covering the Italian satellite? Which I then had to go look up, and there was a defense contractor at a satellite in Italy that was changing votes on the voting machine, whatever it is. And that's where you go, wow, like at some level, you want to believe that stuff, because I know you're smarter than that, and I know you can find the truth, but you don't want to know it, I guess, for whatever your reason is.
They don't, and that's why at this point, I don't, I've actually tried to explain and reason through with a lot of people, friends of mine over the past several years, They'll go, well, what about the suitcase? Those two black ladies that stole those votes. And I go, what are you talking about? And then I'd check it out. I'd say, here's the Wall Street Journal story that says that's a lie. Here's the Fox News story that says that's a lie. And I'll find other right of center outlets that say it's all a lie. And they'll go, yeah, but what about the Italian dude? And then I'll go, okay, here's the story. And it's all but it's like you're at the fair and you're playing whack-a-mole. They have 1,000 conspiracy theories and they know they're lies. By the way, let me just say, I always get into a debate at dinner parties. They know they're lies. They know the Facebook posts they're sending around are lies. They're doing it, first of all, to get people like Donnie upset. When he's got a pink sports jacket on, like at most of these dinners, so you understand why they want to get him upset,
right? You want to take
a
a few shots,
You just want a few shots, so they want to get people like Donnie upset. First of all,
is that pink?
And secondly, they just like reinforcing, their beliefs. I mean, Jonathan Lemire, we need to get you in here. I don't think you go to the Hamptons, but we need to get you involved here. Because you see it, too, when you're out on the campaign trail, and you've been out on the campaign trail for years. People just again, they want to believe what they want to believe. And let me tell you something. Nobody wants to hear this. You need to hear it. Let those with ears hear. During the Bush administration, I could not walk up the Upper West Side to get a cup of coffee without seeing pictures of George W. Bush dressed as Hitler on every freaking corner. And at one point, you can check the polls, over half the Democratic Party in 2005 thought 9/11 was an inside job. That upset you? It shouldn't upset you. Any more than me telling you that Donald Trump lost the election should upset you. I'm just saying, yes, it's much worse with Donald Trump. American democracy is on the line. The party leaders have joined in on the conspiracies and the lie. All of that is true. But we have a much bigger problem with this sorting. And we have to, as Bobby Kennedy always did, we've got to question initial assumptions. We've got to challenge ourselves, and we've got to fight back with the truth, because more than an election is on the line in 2024.